Hello, Needham. You may not know what your house is worth, but we probably do. You're watching What's My House Worth? My name is Rob Ticktin. This is Ryan McDonnell. We are realtors with Hawthorn Real Estate, and we're happy to have you on board. Ryan, it's the month of October. We're in the midst of fall now.
Yep.
Among the four seasons, where does fall rank for you?
I'm a big fall fan, Rob. Big fall fan.
So give me a number.
I mean, I'd say it's 2.
All right, not bad.
Yeah.
Today's episode, we're going to be going over the month of September, so plenty of September sales to talk to you about. But before we dive in and examine them on a one-by-one basis, we're going to look at the big picture. And Ryan, as you examine the sales data, anything jump off the page here?
I mean, the price, Rob, still creeping up. You know, we're at an average sale price of $1.19 million for our 25 September sales.
Yeah, that's just shy, I think, of a monthly record in Needham, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
that's up there.
It is up there. It's up there year over year and even month over month. So numbers are climbing and percentages are strong. Not great. I mean, 97.9% of list price and only 96.2 of original list. I don't love to see that number below 97%.
Yeah, we have a sale or two,
Yeah.
I think, that are driving those numbers down. Something a little bit different, Ryan, that I put up here, but I thought it was relevant for the data for this month is the current inventory and what's going on right now in Needham. And as we look at the inventory squeeze, so to speak, it's pretty startling to see that the numbers have dropped so much for October of 2017, although it's not uncharted territory.
Right. I mean, so it's similar to back what we had in October of 13. So yeah, I think not only this, Rob, the 63 properties that are on the market, but when we get to the very end of the show, we start talking about what the forward-looking data is telling us. That there's an interesting number in there too, which we'll touch on later.
All right, keeping in mind, of course, those are listings currently on the market. So 63 listings as of this taping available for sale in Needham. Next up, we're going to take a look at the sales price for the month of September, and you know, I think this pretty much speaks for itself. But you want to add some color there, Ryan?
I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not much to add. I mean, it's a startling number, almost 1.2 million. That's our average sale price in the town of Needham for right now. So that's very strong. It's indicative of a lot of positive things in the market, but it doesn't mean that anything will sell in any location, in any condition, if not priced properly. Pricing
properly, always the key, regardless if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. But for now, let's take a look at these individual sales. We're gonna climb our way up the 25-step ladder. We're gonna start with the low sales price, and that's over on Brookside. Of course, that's off of Central, near Forest over there, near Volante. And you know, the first thing I noticed, there's a lot to like about this listing sheet, I thought, Ryan. The first sentence on there really grabbed me. It was, I'm gonna quote here, if that's okay. "Beneath these majestic pines lies another world, where tranquility is the rule of the day, where sounds of sparrows and peepers fill the air and rabbits wander."
Yeah. I mean, it makes you want to cuddle up by the fire as opposed to maybe by the house, but it's a nice description of the property. I thought this property actually, I think the buyer did well here. You know, it's over an acre, or it's right at an acre. The house is in pretty good condition. I mean, it's not huge. It's under 1,500 square feet. But you know, it's updated, it's moving condition. I thought the buyer did well.
Did you notice how the listing agent really made a point to source that square footage number? I thought you'd appreciate that.
Yes, there were a couple, Rob, that were done properly this month, which I always like to see.
Yeah, well, I just want to point out the good ones if we're going to always make a point to mention the bad ones.
That's fair, that's fair.
62 Dawson Drive is the next listing over in a completely different section of town. Ryan, land sale?
Yes, land sale. This will be a custom home done by what I like to refer to, Rob, as a migrant builder.
Okay, and what does that mean, Ryan?
That's a builder who builds, lives in the house for 3 years, sells, and does the whole process all over again.
Okay, migrant builder, and you made that
term
up?
I did, I coined that.
Okay,
yeah.
Very nice. Hopefully it catches on. I'll do my part.
All right, thanks. We're all pulling for me.
Over on Helen Road, it's not too far away. 53 Helen Road is the next listing, and I was a little surprised to see this one on the market for as long as it was, Ryan.
Me too. It's a head scratcher for sure.
Yep, it was. I mean, it was a move-in condition home.
Yeah, move-in condition. Actually, an updated home, quiet street, nice neighborhood, a Broadmeadow School neighborhood. The lot is over 10,000 square feet. There just isn't any. There's nothing about this that says to me 54 days on market. It wasn't overpriced, and everything seems to fit, but the buyer just wasn't there until a couple of months into the process, and that one is sort of a head scratcher.
And I think that's evidenced by the fact that it sold for just $5,000 less than what it was listed for, even though it was on the market for 54 days.
Yeah, I don't get that one. So the question there is, if you would have listed that for $749, would it have gone for $790 in 2 days?
Well, if we are subscribers to our own theory, then the answer is yes, but I don't know. I guess we never will know.
Yeah.
But you seem to think it would have.
I'd be willing to bet that it would have had similar landing point in a much quicker time.
Okay, interesting. Next listing is over in Birds Hill. It's 30 Morningside Road. I don't know if you remember, Ryan. You and I walked through this house back in 2013 when it was on the market, and the sellers this time around, or the people who bought it in 2013, did do a little bit of work to this house.
And it was, I didn't mean to interrupt you, it was confusing because I was reading my notes from it, not realizing they were notes from 2013.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the pictures, I'm like, something's not right here. But you're right, they did the kitchen and some other work to it.
Right, so it sold for $630,000 back in 2013. Nice house, tight. I don't know if you remember, the second floor was it was really tight, ceiling the whole thing. And then the lot kind of dropped off in the back a little bit.
Right.
A great starter home, though, for Needham.
Yeah, definitely. And on Morningside, this one is nice because it has really no view or impact of the water tower other than likely low water pressure, but you can't see it.
Right. And,
so that's nice.
And again, I'm realizing that I'm, calling a $796,000 starter home. It's,
but that's
feels
where
strange.
we are.
That's the world we live in.
That's the town we live in.
That's right. 62 Oakland Avenue is next up, and I kind of like this one, Ryan. I mean, it's, for those who don't know, Oakland kind of runs parallel to Pickering, right? It's, you talk about an in-town location. This is it, right? A little strange how behind you, there are not other houses. Behind you is Pickering, right? So there's just one row of houses between Pickering and Oakland, and this is it. But this is a house that looked like a pretty good deal to me, and it had a pool.
It did on a 7,400 square foot lot.
Yeah.
I tucked that pool right in there. And this one, another, as you point out, a properly disclosed living area. Living area does not include the finished basement, and they cited public record. So well done here. Good job.
All righty. So our next listing is 3 Bridge Street. I tell you, more and more houses that we've been in when they were on sale another time. Right. Like it tells you we've been doing this thing for a while.
Perhaps too long.
Maybe. But this one back in 2014 sold for $855. For those who don't know, Bridge Street is off Reservoir. It's on the other side of 128.
Yeah.
Or the world.
Yeah. Look, this one again. We're going to reiterate what we said back when it sold last time.
I'm sure everybody remembers.
Right. It's a lot of house for the 8s, for sure. I mean, it's 3,500 square feet, and you're getting in the 8s. It's clearly a function of its location. Right. You can hear 128 from the house, and it's only 3 bedrooms, so it's a lot of square feet for 3 bedrooms.
Yeah.
Built in 1988.
Yeah. There's always going to be a market for it. To people who really want the square footage and aren't as concerned about the location. Hence 4 days on market. 33 Bradford Street is our next listing. A completely different animal, even though the sales price is $5,000 different than 3 Bridge Street. This is a land sale, Ryan. 11,761 square foot lot on a ladder street sells for $875. That's what land is selling for, I guess.
I know. It's still struck me as a bit high. And then when you look at this house, people are going to say, "Oh, that's such a pretty house. That's such a nice house. It could easily be renovated." The house was old. It was in, it's getting redeveloped, yes, but it really wasn't a house that you were just going to, buy for $900,000, be able to sink a bunch of money into, and not be underwater.
Yeah, it was severely neglected, and on top of that, had a few other issues.
But a nice front elevation. I do like the look of it from the street, or the former one.
Agreed. What I remembered was, so 33 Bradford sells for $875. So if you remember, there was a land sale in Bradford back in 2014 for a new construction home, which was, I think, right next door.
Yep.
And so that sold for $700,000.
Yeah, that's a big jump.
Basically the same lot.
In Bradford, even though it's a ladder street, and that's all obviously very desirable, and it's the closest ladder street to town, it's also, in my opinion, the busiest.
It is the busiest.
It's a bit of a a cut through.
It's a busier ladder street.
It's probably the busiest ladder street.
All right, noted. 90 Falcon Street is the next listing. This is great location. This is, kind of the sweet spot, I feel like, that we've been seeing the last few months, Ryan, where it's that 2,000 square foot house that goes for, over $900,000, right?
Yeah, and a potter's shed to boot.
Yeah. You can't put a price tag on a potter's shed, can you?
I don't think so.
Back to Morningside, 56 Morningside Road is the next listing. And you know what I noticed about these? Do you notice anything about these pictures when you were looking through this listing?
They were dark.
They were dark.
Yeah.
There was not one light on.
Yeah.
Every single, and it looks like the lights are still off from the outside picture.
It looks like the house is hiding.
But you don't see, I mean, not one light was on.
Yeah, well.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Okay, sure.
I mean, it's like I didn't like them and I didn't know why, and then I realized that's why.
Yeah, they
so
were
if I'm
dark.
getting that feeling.
Right,
others?
I just noticed that they were dark. I didn't even notice that there wasn't a light on.
Yeah.
You're way more perceptive than me. So 2 things I picked out of the listing sheet. One is the use of oversized when describing the lot. Can a lot be oversized?
No.
Can it be too big?
No.
I don't think so either. And then the 7-minute walk to the commuter rail.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you may walk. I mean, if they're walking with any of my children, it'll take them 3 times that long. To
Right.
get to
Well,
the
I
commuter
think
rail.
I don't know if walking with your children is necessarily a benchmark.
Right. Well, but what is the benchmark? What are we basing the 7 minutes on?
Maybe we need more
What kind
information.
of stride length are we talking about?
That's a great question.
Is it
I'm guessing
raining?
they don't know.
Yeah. No.
No, that has to be dry conditions.
Okay.
Okay, assessed for $708,000, that one. So
Thanks.
yeah, about 200 grand off. Next up is 154 Tower Avenue, Ryan. And before we start talking about this listing, we did want to make a comment about the listing agent, Deb Alden.
Yes, as many of you know, and many people in town, and just particularly the real estate community, we lost Deb Alden recently. Although you and I both, we didn't know her very, very well. We definitely knew her enough to know that she was a very happy, always had a smile on her face, nice to talk to, warm, pleasant person. And the real estate community in Needham will certainly miss Deb, as well as I'm sure everybody whose lives she touched.
Very nice, nicely said. She was always pleasant to bump into, for sure, on the broker tour, as we did just about every Thursday. So the listing itself, 154 Tower Avenue. Let's take another look at that. And I don't know, Ryan. You buy this house for $990 and you pump $400 or $500 grand into it. I think you're still good.
Yeah, it's close, Rob. It's close.
That's a lot of money to pump into it.
It is, and it needed quite a bit of work. It went out at 1,348. I'm not sure about that one, but it was quickly adjusted to 1,095 within a matter of a day or two.
Yeah.
And then sold shortly thereafter. But you're right. I mean, in this one, you're looking at that kind of scope as far as what this house needs in order to get it to done. And if at that point is it worth 1.5? I mean, we'll see. I mean, we see there is one for 1.5, and down the road in this show today that maybe is a comp for this, but that's tight. That's a lot to take on.
Yeah, it's okay. I think it's, yeah, I mean, we'll look at the one a little bit further ahead and kind of make a call there, I guess. Next listing is on the Avenue.
Sure
or is it the Avenues or the Avenue?
I like to say it's the Avenue.
The Avenue, 192 Central Avenue.
What kind of fertilizer are they using, Rob?
I don't know. You definitely don't want to let the dog go on there to relieve itself.
Right. That's a very bright green grass.
Yes, it is. The layout for this one was a toughie.
Yep.
Right, because they had the floor plan on the listing sheet, and it was the kitchen was nowhere near the the family room or the main living area, which it doesn't always have to be. But for a house that was kind of touting itself as a just shy of a new construction, essentially, it was not new construction. Yeah.
It was built.
It was a problem.
It kept the foundation built from the foundation up. But you're right. It was a peculiar layout. But I mean, it got $1 million. They were asking 137. So maybe I think they obviously were more bullish on the layout than the market.
I guess so. Next up is 211 Tudor Avenue. Ryan.
Yeah.
It looks like this is your ball.
I mean, this one. I mean, just look back to Central. I mean, you're talking about a house on Tudor that is a little bit smaller than Central, but it's updated. It's on a 12,000 square foot lot. You're getting it for $1,080,000, whereas the Central house goes for just over $1 million. I think comparatively, this one, if you put 50 people in a room and told them you had $1 million to $1.1 million to spend, how many of those 50 people are buying Central over Tudor? And that just tells me that this Tudor price may have been a bargain for the buyer.
Okay.
So I like it for the buyer.
All right, and very good. 20 days on market, and it brings us to our next listing, which I guess if the buyer's considering that, well, they're probably not going to make a $70,000 jump up to 27 Winslow Road, because this one sells for $115. For those who don't know, Winslow connects Mary Chilton and Pilgrim, so it's right near the Wellesley line over there. This house was purchased in '06 for $692, but clearly a lot of money was put into it. I mean, I have a feeling they did well.
So Mary Chilton, so that whole neighborhood is all tied to Mayflower and the Pilgrims, but Mary Chilton was the first woman reportedly to ever set foot on, first European woman I should say, to set foot on North American soil. and Winslow is her married name.
Oh, very
so
nice.
that's where that comes from.
Very good.
So
love it.
Little fun fact for you today.
Alrighty. 411 Cartwright Road is the next listing, and this one, this lot straddles Wellesley and Needham, so the line goes right through it. You have to go into Wellesley to get to this house. We both kind of walked through this one, and it was certainly unique in the sense that it was just 3 beds, and it was a custom build.
Right.
And we both kind of were scratching our head thinking, if you're going to custom build a home, why not make it 4 beds so you don't have to run into this problem when you go to sell it?
I think that either the agent or was it the owner that was there who was kind of like, yeah, I wish there was another bedroom.
Yeah, it was the agent.
Yeah, it really did, because we were walking around like, this is really nice. It's really nice looking from the outside in particular.
Yeah.
And we're walking through there, and I was just kind of like, I was kind of doing my count, and then there was only 3 bedrooms, and that, you know, your price is going to suffer for that, because there's a lot of potential buyers there that it just fundamentally doesn't work for them with only 3 beds.
Here's a question for you, Ryan. Was 411 Cartwright Road listed in Wellesley as well as Needham?
I bet you it was.
It was.
Yeah.
And actually the sales agent was a Wellesley agent.
And it sold for more in Wellesley.
Well, I don't know about that. But it says here Wellesley Water, Sewer, and Snowplow, but it does say Needham School. So I wonder if you could apply to have that changed, assuming that a Wellesley buyer might have bought it.
Well, isn't it the where your head rests rule?
Maybe, but it's possible that for this one it's a little bit different because such a small portion of it is in Wellesley, but I don't know.
Interesting.
16 Yale Road is no question in Needham.
Yep.
Right, and sold for 1275 as new construction in 2013.
And remember, this was like one of the first new houses that was built in that part of the Heights. In those neighborhoods. It was like it was a pioneer back in 2013.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that. I was going to mention something about that later.
Oh.
Very good. 14,000 square foot lot there. Next up, 429 Warren Street. This is not a new construction.
No.
It wasn't new back in 2013, although it was new in 1993.
Right.
So it's a 1 acre lot. Not many of those on Warren, but this one, of course, is closer to High Rock.
Yeah,
that's where the bigger ones are.
Sideways, isn't it? Like that front elevation is not facing Warren. That's facing the driveway, I think. Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's not looking out onto the street. I didn't love the front elevation though.
No.
No. It's just very wide and kind of it needs some detail. Maybe the new buyer will spruce it up a little bit as long as they find that microwave handle, which is missing.
Yeah, we need to find that thing.
Right.
We need to find that thing. I appreciate it.
Where is it?
I don't know. Somebody's walking around holding it, probably, unsuspecting. 92 Thornton Road is the next listing, and as I was looking at this, I thought it looked like a pretty good deal to me. 1.3s in Broad Meadow, and it looked like a lot of house. So it had me thinking, Ryan, how many options or how many homes have sold this year in the 1.3s in Broad Meadow?
Probably very few.
So there have been 30 in Needham.
Okay.
In the 1.3s to sell in 2017.
That's more than I would have thought.
How many are in Broad Meadow, including this one?
I guess now if there's 30, I don't know, maybe 7.
5.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Yeah, that's not very many.
No.
So this one, I mean, just in contrast to 429 Warren, this was built in 92, but totally different house. Like this house looks more like homes that are being built now.
Today, yes,
whereas
agreed.
The Warren house looks like a house built in 1992. Yeah. And even on the inside, Thornton may have been updated since. Warren, I don't think had. Thornton might have been updated since. And they sold for relatively close to the same price. So it's a little bit. That's interesting. It's just always interesting to look at these houses month to month that have certain similarities, but then are totally different.
Right, exactly. But they sell for a similar number sometimes, and just different buyers, I guess. Yep. 80 Sachem Road is the next listing, and this is yet another different buyer than the previous two. This is a new construction home. You talk about being a pioneer. This might be one.
Yep.
But how about that lot size?
Yeah, tiny, Rob.
And it didn't look that. I mean, there was a picture of the backyard, which, by the way, had a really nice patio and a built-in fire pit. It didn't look like it was that small, but I guess there's no getting around it. I mean, that's the size, right?
Right. Unless they took the picture from the neighbor's house.
Yeah, which, who knows, maybe they did.
Yeah.
But any other thoughts on that?
Not really.
Yeah, there's going to be another new construction on Sachem coming up here, and not for probably another 10 months or so don't get too excited.
Okay. I won't wait.
Yeah. 49 Pheasant Landing is the next listing. This is off of Ryan, Charles River Street.
Yep.
So any thoughts on this one?
This one also built in 92. So 3 houses all built around the same period. This one's, it's a different product than, say, the Thornton location, just because we're talking about 1.6 acres. I mean, it's off on the outskirts.
Yep.
This house was updated pretty thoroughly since 92.
Yeah.
New kitchen, new master suite. So they put some more money into it. I don't know how that translated as far as return, but you're getting a lot for 145 for sure.
Yeah. And for $25,000 more, you could have had 78 Webster Street, which is a new construction home on Webster. This one's closer to Central, and pretty big. It said what? Three of the bedrooms were en suites. 4 of the bedrooms were en suites on the second floor, right?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, so looking at those two. So you've got 78 Webster, which is brand new, on Webster, on just past the corner of Elder, I believe, as you approach Central. And then you're looking back at Pheasant Landing. So which one, Rob, are you buying for essentially the same money, the mid-1.4s?
Wow, that's a good question. I think I'm probably going to buy. I think I'm buying Webster.
Are you? See, yeah. I'm usually trying to get closer to town, but this is far enough away that I don't think town is really a factor here. And I think I'm buying Pheasant Landing just because it has a little bit more to offer as far as the lot, and it's not on a busy street.
Yeah, I understand. I think what pushed me in the other direction was just the fact that I was kind of having a hard time deciding between the two, and I just like the idea that it's new construction, and you got all those bathrooms, and it's not a bad size lot, and it is a little bit closer to the action, so to speak.
Yeah, it only has 1 full bath more than Pheasant Landing, though.
All right, fine.
I win.
Yeah, okay. I'll get you back. 30 Sterling Road is the next listing, and this one is in the Valley.
It is in the Valley.
Yeah. 12,000 square foot lot, just 7 days on market. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, how about this one, though? Compare this one to Webster.
Right. Well,
so this is $50,000 more. You're getting much less square footage. You're getting fewer beds, fewer baths. Is the location of the Valley that much better than Webster?
Well, I mean, I don't know. This is a neighborhood.
It is.
Right, and so I think that's the location itself is probably a little bit better. It's a different school district, but
the houses themselves are not apples to apples.
Agreed.
Sterling offers less than Webster. It's 50 grand more, so the location has to be worth 150 almost to make up for the differences.
So you're saying you like Webster better for 25 grand more?
I mean, I think it's from a value standpoint. I think Webster, the buyer got more for their money.
Right. So you'd buy Webster for $25,000 less.
I probably.
Okay, we're tied. 115 Newell.
I don't think I would.
Yeah, I know. 115 Newell Avenue is the next listing, and Ryan, this one was built in 2012.
Yep.
Good looking house.
It is. It is.
Good looking house. Big lot too. And it's close to town.
Yep. One thing I noticed here is that the builder was named in the public remarks. I didn't think you could do.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't have that big balloon.
I feel like that's happened before, and you've commented on it before, so maybe it is allowed.
Huh? Well, maybe it does. Maybe it does have a handsome dining room.
It does.
And this is This is the one where I was talking about when we were talking about tower a few minutes ago. If you put $300-400 grand into tower, can you reasonably expect to get a 1.5 sellout? Like, granted, this was totally new in 2012.
Yep.
But if you gut renovate tower, is it worth the same kind of 1.55 number that Newell is worth here?
I think it's close.
It would, maybe.
I do.
Because I mean, I looked at this and I said, this is a good number for a house that's not new, that's under 4,000 square feet. I mean, I'd be curious to see how this stacked up to other homes under 4,000 square feet. It's probably at the high end of that spectrum.
Yeah, I think tower holds up well, just because towers, I mean, it's like...
This one would give me encouragement if I was to take on tower.
Okay, very good. 168 Mark Tree Road is the, oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about with this one.
We were, I mean, it was a race to who could claim this as their deal of the month.
So if this looks familiar to our viewers, it's because this same exact house sold just in February.
Yep.
So earlier...
Not the exact house if you count.
Okay, fine. Good point.
Sorry.
So this same house sold in February for $1.575 million as a new construction home. So what happened was it was, I think, sold in mid-construction and got customized over the course of the construction, and then the people closed on it, and for whatever reason turned around and put it back on the market just months after they purchased it at a much higher price point. And the reason was because they had done so much to the house in terms of making it their own that they poured a lot of money into it. But the trick of the thing was it was so specific to a very type of taste. Maybe flashy is a word I might use. I don't know. So this thing came back on the market at what, 1,825, and I think Ryan, you and I both walked through there thinking, yikes, I can't imagine this thing selling for much more than the 1,575 that it sold for when it was new.
Right.
And lo and behold, somebody steps in and pays 1,725 for it, which
Yeah.
I think the sellers have to be thanking their lucky stars, even if they did take a hit.
But I think I think you're right. They should be thanking that, but I bet you they're not.
Really?
Because I think they truly believe that what they did to improve this house was worth what they were asking for, and they might have paid a lot for it. And it highlights that the custom home route is an expensive one because you're putting money into a house that's based on your taste, your wants and needs. It's a lot different than building a spec house. If you're a builder, you're doing something that's very, very specific to what you want.
True, but
it
can be a wide array, right? Like you can lean towards very neutral tastes, or you can just go in a direction that nobody usually goes.
Yeah, and this one went that direction. So like we walked through there, as you mentioned, and it was like the agent was giving it the hard sell in terms of these upgrades, and it's
a good number.
It's a good number.
It's a good number.
I think they did well, like you said. It
Yes.
was surprising that it went under so fast.
All right, next listing is 48 Dartmouth Avenue, new construction home. This one was in a great spot and did pretty well. Seems to be about a good price. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think it's certainly fine. 11,000 plus square foot lot.
Yeah,
nice Mitchell, backside of Mitchell location.
The days on market reflects the fact that it went on the market before it was done. Last listing. So I have a little spiel for the last listing, and I don't know.
I have a feeling we're going to talk about the same thing.
Okay, well,
maybe not.
Maybe not. So this house, so 10 Stonecrest sells for 1,868. Okay, there you go. There you have it. So the same house sold in 2016 for 195.
Okay.
Okay, so it sold for more a year and a half ago. All right. On that listing sheet, it had the square footage is 8,360, and it included the basement. It said.
Okay.
Okay. Then it goes back on the market, as you saw there, and the square footage is 7,050 and includes the basement.
Okay.
So the people who bought it back in 2016, they basically lost 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
1,200.
I hate when that happens.
So
you walk upstairs and one of the bedrooms is no longer there.
Yeah, right. But so
it's so annoying.
So they buy this house for 195, and they think they're buying
Yeah.
an 8,000 square foot house, and now a year later they have to sell it, and somebody's telling them sorry.
Yeah.
But it's 1,000 square feet less than you thought.
That's not a little bit of an oversight.
Right. So they sold it for more on a dollars per square foot basis, but they took a hit.
Right. You wonder what the revelation of that news was like.
Well, it's a prime example, Ryan, a prime example of why when you're a buyer, you need to make sure your agent is doing their homework on the square footage, because eventually you're going to be a seller and that number might not be the same.
Right.
And we see it every month.
Yeah, it's a pretty important number, which is, you're right, it's why we're so so diligent in harping on it, just because it's so critical, and it's exemplified here to a T.
Yeah.
What I was going to add was just the fact that backyard is great for a pool. Like, you don't sell something you don't have.
Yeah,
I mean,
know.
it's not there. Not everybody, A, wants a pool. B, there isn't one there. And they even went as far as to include a picture. Did you see this?
Yes.
Of the backyard with like a sketch.
A sketch of a pool.
Where the pool could go. To me, it's like, sell what you have and really
let
highlight,
somebody else think, hey, we can put a pool here.
You start selling the pool, someone's gonna say, fine, I'll give you 1.8, but I'd like a pool.
Yeah.
So it's to me, it's focus on what's there, sell the real highlights of the house, and go that direction.
All right, market snapshot, Ryan. As of early October, we look at what's going on in this listing sheet, or in this market, I should say. And 61, well, we talked about this, just 61 active single-family listings compared to 92 same time last year. Average listing price is continuing to climb. Meanwhile, the homes that are under agreement right now are lower than previous months.
And that's, when we started the show, that's the number that I was going to focus on when we got here, was at 45, Rob. We always get to about 335 sales, but if you're continuing seeing low homes under agreement, I mean, maybe this is the year we only have 300 sales.
All right. If people want to get a hold of us, how would they go about doing that, Ryan?
Best way to reach us, you can always call us at 781-707-6564. Email us, rob.ryan@hawthornre.com. If you want to check in on what we're doing, follow us on Twitter, and that is @Hawthorn_WMHW.
Another episode of What's My House Worth is in the books. Thanks for joining us. We are going to see you again very soon.